What's up, everyone? I'm the Kaiju no Kami with
Relica Kane
and
Silver Quill,
and we are going to be talking about Kamen Rider Revice, episodes 37 and 38.
collectively known as Family Matters.
Hey, I love that show.
I'm not dissing the show, but there's a lot of family theme in this one.
Yes, this two-parter, I don't know if it's a two-parter. I think of it as a two-parter, but...
Well, we watched two parts together, so for us it's a two-parter, but it's part of the ongoing saga. Oh, pardon me. I am getting over a sinus infection, so I may cough a bit. Or I might abandon just to get some water.
You're going to abandon us?
Yes. Yes, I'm sorry. I left you for a week. Relica looks like she's going to cry.
Oh, and somebody today during my live stream says I need to hit you.
What? What did I do?
I don't remember why. I don't know the details. He just said, "Did you hit Silver Quill?" And I said, "No, he hasn't been over for me to hit." So I was assuming that meant the cue to hit you.
Now I'm definitely going to be at that water because I feel like I'm going to start coughing all over. Tell Tiny Tim I won't be coming home this Christmas. So I'll be right back. Excuse me.
I punched Silver Quill and now he's rage quit.
Rage quit!
Sorry about the mess over there, but there's bottles of water in the fridge.
Oh, marvelous.
Just don't take the super cold one because that came out of the freezer.
How is he going to know which one's a super cold one?
Because it's kind of ice.
Well, this one is cold but doesn't have ice. So.
Okay. But
I love that neither of you tried to move ahead with the review without me. I'm that vital. I feel so important.
No, I just have clear abandonment issues, and I can't continue until they're resolved, so...
Well, I have the Wawa, so I'm
The Wawa?
temporarily resolved.
what are you thinking?
I'm just trying not to be wet blanket.
So we've got continuation of where we left off like a long time ago, which seems so long ago.
And so far away.
Daiji has just decided he's going to continue working for his boss despite wanting to kill him. And because Daiji apparently has no idea how to actually just quit his job.
Yeah, the dude is a workaholic in the worst sense.
He is really cranking up the stupid.
Well, I think for Daiji, it's the middle child syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
So I've only experienced the middle child syndrome in my adult life, so I can't attest to it. But from having spoken to a lot of friends who are that middle child, the challenge is the eldest had everything. And then the youngest is paid attention to a lot, being the baby. So that middle child sometimes kind of, for lack of a better way of putting it, sits in that like limbo area because they get the hand-me-downs from the eldest, but also because the youngest is a girl, he can't pass his hand-me-downs to the youngest. So he's kind of in that forgotten zone. So I imagine... Not that this family has done anything to treat Daiji that way, but if you think about it, his elder brother is the biggest busybody in Japan, and his younger sister is more than capable of protecting herself without her big brother's help.
But only on weekends.
And so, Daiji, I think, looking at it from a family perspective, is really feeling left out. So, when he does try to make advances towards change, he sometimes either gets let down because other people have already thought of that and are moving to that direction, or he gets ignored because other more empowered people take this over. And Akaishi, he's taking advantage of it because he's using the lack of confidence that Daiji has, especially now because he doesn't have his inner demon, to make him see things that are not there, or make him believe things that are not there. Like the whole situation of the difference between peace and freedom. I don't think, in my perspective, and I don't look at this as an American view, but I look at this as a personal view, peace and freedom are not mutually exclusive.
But if you give up one to have the other, you deserve neither.
Exactly.
Old saying. I mean, the truth is there is a very strong authoritarianism that view happening in a lot of countries these days, and which coincides with the national view, arguing that if you have peace and stability, you give up some freedom to get it. And then, well, we end up with January 6th.
Or we end up with all these school shootings. Like the Republicans just recently said in a poll, they would rather have the freedom and people just have to accept that school shootings are going to be a thing that's normal for society going forward.
I can never accept that.
Nope.
And so I do believe that there are certain times where you have to give up certain things. But it feels like with Daiji's character, he's resolved that to save humanity, because at first it was more to save Akemi, but to save humanity, you have to give up freedom to get peace. You can't fight Gifu because he's too powerful, so you just have to give up this freedom to let him win. And I think this comes from that perspective of the eldest sibling stayed at home. He gave up his dreams, essentially, to help the family. The youngest sibling, she has this path. She does great with martial arts, and you can see her going down that path. She's a very strong-willed woman. So Daiji is like, well, I need to be that corporate drone, because I need to demonstrate success to set me apart from my family. And it's an interesting perspective, just because the family unit has been so big throughout the series.
Yes. Though I think there's also, they talk a great deal about his sense of righteousness. He's trying to save all of humanity. That's him.
But he's blinded.
Well, a hero complex, perhaps.
He's blinded by it. He's acting stupid.
Well, so stupid is a very simple way of saying it.
Yeah, but that's what he's being. He's cranking up the stupid because instead of actually taking down the villain, he's willing to submit to the villain, which is not what a hero is supposed to do.
Well, these folks are trying to be heroes, but they're human.
Heroes no, they're not. They're half demon.
So if you think about it in the scheme of things, if Iki is 21, Daiji has to be about 19, because Sakura is in high school, so she's 17. So he is in that middle, and he's a kid. Are you saying that you had everything figured out at the age of 19, 20?
I'm 40 and I don't think I have everything figured out.
I still don't know what I want to do when I grow up.
I did have it all figured out.
Okay.
And then you wrecked it all.
I wrecked it all when you were 18, so you have no excuse when you're 19.
And we're at a couples therapy session.
No, that's not the intent. But...
Well, anyway, so Daiji's being dumb. They decide, okay, we need a new driver that can use Gifu cells, because that's how we can defeat him. And so they were like, okay, we'll have a Kemi, so we have the freezing form again.
Which I like.
They freeze a Kemi, and Sakura gets her ass whooped by Gifterian Hell, was it?
Gif Demon?
Gifterian Hell.
Is that what they call them? Something else in the translation?
Oh, I thought that's what it said in the first time he appeared.
well, gift demons or something else was the term they used this episode. Although we skipped one important part. The PR campaign continues as they announce that the director is alive.
Oh, yes.
And that they're doing mandatory stampings.
I got such a Jesus feel from them saying that. No,
Jesus?
okay. Not in a good way. Not in a good way.
Uh-oh.
By saying that he was revived by Gifu.
Oh, yeah.
So think about for like Easter.
False prophet.
Yes, he's that false prophet, more so like the Antichrist, where he was revived by God, and he's showing the love that Gifu has for humanity, and if you submit, your sins essentially will be washed away. I'm using a very dark form of this. So anyone who's Christian, please do not think I'm trying to be sacrilegious. I'm trying to demonstrate.
Who cares?
She's trying to demonstrate. Now, all I was thinking when the dude showed up is that, oh Lord, hide the backgrounds, protect the scenery. He's going to devour it all.
Oh, God.
And in some ways, he was actually more subdued in these last two episodes.
He was. I was actually kind of oppressed because...
You were kind of oppressed?
Impressed. No, I'm always oppressed, but impressed.
Well, I just remember the one scene when
his tea set was awesome too.
Sakura is wailing on the demon, and his face just looks like his eyes just look up in the sky as if he's like, what's my line?
Just that crazy. I love the courage you both are wearing. Just what I expect of Gifu's descendants. My stepchildren, if you will.
My step-siblings.
Step-siblings.
But,
so I gotta hand it to you.
So they freeze Akemi, and while they're distracted saving Sakura, our totally evil dude with gloves kills Akemi and leaves. Demon guy leaves, and they're all like, wait, what's going on? And here comes freaking Daiji, thinking that his brother and sister killed Akemi.
That's because obviously Akaishi set him up, showing the footage, making it seem.
But that's what I'm saying though. That's why he's part of cranking up the stupid, because he should know by now that Akaishi's going to lie to him, so he shouldn't just automatically. He should be there asking his brother, what happened?
I think we're viewing this from the third-party omniscient audience. From Daiji's perspective, he's been shown the futility of resistance as he's gotten his ass.
And honestly, if you think about it, like what you just said, Akaishi has only told him the blatant truth. He has never once, in his perspective, everything that Akaishi has said has come true. So, like Silver said, we're seeing it as the audience where we know the full story. But from the character's perspective, yes, he's being foolish because he should have more faith in his family, but his family has gone all in with the weekend, and Daiji probably feels very isolated by his own doing of his own righteousness.
He chose that path.
He chose that path, but he is feeling I imagine, very isolated. Because every time he sees something that Akaishi has said has come true, he's been alone. Nobody else has been able to kind of see it for what it is.
And one of the main tactics of brainwashing is isolation.
Mm-hmm.
But then, so Hiromi shows up just out of the blue, out of nowhere. Oh, I was just faking that I had a memory loss. Oh, okay.
That did aggravate me.
So we had that whole
clip show for nothing?
Well, I'm thinking more, George did that entire workout routine. And did he, maybe make a video series of that, get some royalties? I mean, he's kind of out of a place to live right now.
Well, I am a little frustrated that, because obviously we haven't seen any of the specials or movies or whatever they are. So we don't know what all encompasses there. But having him come back this late in the game...
With the rather lack of monumental... he didn't really have much of an impact.
No.
Yeah, it was just, oh.
I'm back.
He's back. Okay. Hi, guy that has been shoehorned into this, that apparently...
I mean, was a victim of Bale.
Mm-hmm.
And now he has the insides of an 80-year-old. And he can't fight, but he also can't really connect with Daiji either. I mean, Daiji literally said, "You're back too late."
Which that line I liked, because I thought that was like a super powerful line, because it really does show you being here means absolutely nothing.
But then we have, so they can't...
Oh, look up.
Well, the one thing we've forgotten to talk about, unless we want to keep on the Igarashi family, is the Kirizaki family.
George and his very scarred papa.
Well, the fact that his father essentially... So, George is a lot older than I thought, because if his dad died in 96, and George was like 7 at the time, that means George is like in his 30s.
Hey, he's fun in his 30s.
So...
Well, how old did you think he was?
I actually thought he was like in his 20s.
True story to all you youngins. I had more fun in my 30s than I did my 20s.
Absolutely. 100%.
And honestly, the 40s aren't looking so bad.
I don't know, we had kind of a pandemic in the middle of everything.
And yet, I'm still here.
I didn't even celebrate my 40 like with a big bang like I thought I would. Because all the restaurants were closed.
But
we celebrated a 40 first. That was super awesome.
Yeah. Now, I'm not ruling out the pandemic, but, there's... Sometimes you gotta just bring it to the micro level of your own life. Otherwise, you're gonna go insane. There's already enough bad news in the world on a national scale.
That is honesty. But I felt so sad seeing him basically having to talk to the gravestone as his only way of connecting with his dad still. Even knowing that his dad's still alive.
I was getting some Darth Vader vibes off his dad, but in not the same villainous way. It helps that I've been watching Obi-Wan. But the scars, the difference, the estrangement between father and son, and the need to say, look, I screwed up and I'm trying to do right by everyone, but I think the dad acknowledges I can't fix what I broke in our family.
No. The only thing I could do is try to make amends and help others.
So we've got...
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, there's just one other thought. George says you're not the only one with scars that won't heal. That was kind of hard to... George is so eccentric, which may be a camouflage for all that he's been feeling. He's usually the humor character.
Well, if you think about it, somebody who is bright and lively usually is the one that you expect to have the most trauma.
Well, honestly, I found things the opposite. You don't think they have much trauma. It's one hell of a disguise.
Well, yeah. You don't think they have the trauma, but usually the people who are the brightest and the happiest are the ones that are hiding the most. Because I honestly can say I've never met anyone who was like legitimately positive and happy, except on a few rare occasions, that didn't have an excessive amount of trauma behind them.
I wouldn't always say it's covering, but perhaps combating.
Well, and it's not just trauma, it's also depression or any other type of mental illness as well.
But I apologize, I interrupted.
Yes.
What?
Go ahead, Abby.
Oh, so we finally
Yeah,
we get where the dad says, "Oh, then you need to use my cells to make this new device."
Revice.
And in battle, so they're operating on him. Things go wrong, and Veo is like, "What are you doing to your dad? What?"
And him saying, "Well, if he dies, I die."
But does this mean if Vale dies, the dad dies?
Or can Vale be suppressed and restored to the dead so he has a heart? Hey, have a heart.
Well, that's a good question. And it was kind of like that jarring moment. Well, the funniest thing about this whole dad situation of being strong, saying use my cells, is that he makes this video to say goodbye to his children just in case. And then we find out at the end of the episode that because everybody has noticed his personality has changed. The audience, the family, and everybody is like, can you stop faking this? And the mom is like, I didn't know regaining your memories did a personality change. And so he goes back to how he was earlier in the series, and he was doing this because he wanted to cosplay, essentially, and personality-wise, as Junpei.
Junpei.
And I'm like, oh my god, seriously. He wanted to be Junpei-like.
I'm not sure I understand what you mean.
Well,
The dad.
is his name Junpei?
Yeah, his name's Junpei.
But he wanted to be a serious Junpei.
Yeah,
so he
okay,
was
just so
cosplaying as a serious Junpei.
Okay.
So, Gofa.
But no, I laughed though when he does the whole thing. Okay, don't tell my family I'm going to do this. But then Iki comes running in. Dad, you can't do this. Like, what? Couldn't even wait. Like the same scene.
Well, let's be honest. Weekend is a pretty awful secret organization.
Couldn't you wait like to the next scene to have Iki find out what his dad's planning?
He was standing outside the door listening.
No, Boo and him came in from the place, getting there after he had already said, "Don't tell my family."
I'm pretty sure Boo spilled the beans. The beans have been spilled.
And then we find out that Mr. Boo, which every time I hear that name I think of Dragon Ball, also has been acting more serious to be more responsible. I'm like, so we're going back to old personalities. Honestly, I actually like the dad's more serious personality.
Well, I liked when Mr. Boo was mysteries. Like, how do you know all this stuff? Wait, how did you get all this research? What do you do as a day job?
And then we get our new form,
which I like.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I actually really liked it.
Look, here's a big thing. I was not a fan of Thundergale. So this simpler dual form.
But I still don't like the colors because we're back to the original color scheme. We're back to the bubblegum cotton candy color scheme.
I actually like the designs and the costumes.
I like the uniformity between the two, that they both match each other.
A greater introduction of purple hues as well.
Mm-hmm.
That some way offset the pastel pink. In fact, I do appreciate that these last two episodes really gave some mileage to older forms.
Yes.
I find it really well when a Kamen Rider has forms that handle a specific scenario. Much like Kuga, whereas lately it's been more just throw as many forms as possible, but none of them have a real dedicated purpose. It's great if there's like a form for close combat, and a form for long range, and a form for endurance, and a form for speed. Then each one has a applicable use. But these days we just get a form.
Well, that's a good example of Ghost, because Ghost kept on using just the newest form for so long, and you're like, okay, why didn't you just get this form to begin with? Because that's a frustration for me with most Kamen Rider series. The one thing that they've done in this series is kind of like in 01, and I know 01 was a little sketchy with it at times, but...
Did you know there was a polar bear form? Because I completely forgot there was a polar bear form.
In 01, yeah.
That's why I was saying it was a little sketchy. But here, they make the forms for a utility. And it's not like you have Zaya in 01 making these as she goes along.
And instead you have George.
Yeah, and George is human.
But okay, so they transform. I want to know what those text messages said.
I know it frustrated
It's the first
me.
time in a long time I wish the text messages were actually subtitled.
Oh, but those are what delayed everyone at the start trying to both read and...
Well, no, this fan subgroup didn't bother doing them.
Well, that's what got people back on track. I remember at the start of this series, fan subbers were having a terrible time because, one, it's really hard to read that text in the background, and you're having to find a way to get that translation on screen while you're also having the sound effects.
Mm-hmm.
Abandoning that is probably what got the fan subbers back on a doable timetable.
Well, I will say, after the end of the series, if somebody could give like a transcript of all the text messages said from the different episodes, that would be cool.
Yes.
But yeah, that's the first time I really wanted to know what those text messages were. But so they transform, and all I'm hearing in my head is to protect the world from devastation, and whatever the rest of the Team Rocket quote goes as.
Really? You want to hear it all?
Yes.
Oh boy, this has been drilled into me through years of watching in my high school days.
I know, I was going to say.
I was in 8th grade when it came
Oh,
out.
you
go
shush
to
with
hell.
your face.
Was I 7th grade? Maybe I was finishing 7th grade when it came out.
I was in high school.
To protect the world from devastation, to unite all peoples within our nation,
Yep, that's...
to denounce the evils of truth and love, to extend our reach to the stars above. Jesse, James, Meowth the name. Team Rocket blasts off at the speed of light. Surrender now, prepare to fight. Meowth, that's right.
Okay. But yeah, I was expecting that we'd hear the Team Rocket saying, and for Ravi to go Jesse and Vice to go James.
Now, I was more thinking, Wonder Twin powers, activate! As they basically just kept uniting the strengths. Oh, but, I should say when they stamped the ground to create an army of themselves.
Yeah, it was a one-man army, or two-man army.
One man, one demon army. All I could think back to was Q Ranger, where Lucky uses the Gemini over and over. So I was expecting someone to go, yo, Lucky! And I was like, oh, don't do that. I gotta say, though, the interactions of this new stamp seem really complicated. It's like one connects the other, and if you stamp them this way, then this happens. If you stamp them another way, then you flip up and you pull a trigger. And I'm just like, oh no, I've gone cross-eyed.
Well, I liked how they had to catch it before it got to Gifu so they could pull it apart like a wishbone.
Oh yes, make a wish.
But yeah, so they kick all the S's of the Giftarians and the main demon one.
Hell.
Which, honestly, I was getting pretty tired of because it was always just sleepy with boredom. Not a very compelling character.
Yeah, the monsters of the week have gone.
Well, the monsters of the week are gone. It's basically now just hordes.
Yeah, which is kind of disappointing.
But shoot, I had a thing and I lost it. Oh well.
But well, I don't know. But I like these 2 episodes a lot. I think the show is still, for the most part, going well. I'm trying to figure out how this is going to continue on for like 10 more episodes.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like...
Because I feel like they've got to be at the close to wrapping things up to getting to the final battle.
Well, again, we always seem to forget one topic to talk over. You like the director's tea set. I was interested by his scales and him talking about how every era denounced Gifu as the devil. And, well, I don't think they're wrong. But I found it interesting, Gifu never... He could have wiped everyone out easily in those times, but he didn't. So now the director's saying I had to choose this time because we've gotten too strong where we could oppose the very cosmos. This is the one time where humanity could win against Gifu, and yet the director didn't bring him in before then.
Well, I actually wonder in a way, if Akaishi is actually trying to destroy Gifu
By faking.
it, because if you think about it, what's the one DC character that is from olden, like from ancient Egypt?
Savage? Oh, well, there's several. There's Black Adam. He's Egyptian, I believe. And then there's Vandal Savage.
Savage.
He was a caveman.
Yeah, a caveman who basically was given this immense power and lived through the eras watching the world adapt and change. What?
I know you said eras, but I heard it as errors, and it seemed to fit. It seemed to fit.
Creating a plutonic reactor is so easy, even a caveman can do it. When you tell me Vandal Savage.
But I think they're in a way, given this immense power, when you live through a time where it was beyond your understanding, there's probably a way of him just hating or resenting Gifu, but he had this responsibility that he couldn't get out of.
I still want to know what time period he's from. Because he keeps saying, I'm from an ancient civilization, but he has never once said which civilization.
Well, he likes to talk a lot, so I think he's Babylonian.
It fits.
It fits. I know it was properly pronounced, but for him it's Babylonian.
It's Babylonian.
Oh, did Chris leave his tray here?
His what?
His tray.
No, that's a chair.
Oh, okay.
But you see, Krelka, I know it's Babylonian, but he's a Babylonian. Say with me now, Babylonian.
Does that mean his favorite browser was Babelfish?
Well, that's a translator.
Yes.
And no, because that thing was error loaded up the wazoo.
I know.
I think that's where they got that all your bases belong to us.
All your base, bases. Anywho, oh wait, maybe that's what Gifu needs to say. Someone sent us up the bomb. All your bases are belong to us.
So, new form, I still like the black form from a while ago better, the best. For
the rolling vice stamp?
Yes. I still think that was the best of the forms.
There we go. Let's see here. Well, one sad note for me is at the end, the stamp symbol, this final Rex fills in the last two slots. Yep. I was kind of hoping we get to see the form you described for Daiji, a fallen angel.
I know, I was a little disappointed too.
Now maybe there'll be more, but it'll be like a one shot and be destroyed. But I was just like, oh, you two at once. I know we've been reusing stamps to fill in certain things, but really.
No, I kind of was a little sad too when I saw the collection over.
Because they're all done now.
Because I really do think a falling angel form.
Well, that's because of the movie will probably be the next big merchandise push.
And I found it very poignant when Daiji looked to a mirror to see if he could find his old demon. Because his demon gave him strength to grow. And maybe that's what he's missing right now, the strength to break free. Which is why he's letting someone else make the decisions.
He doesn't know how to break the chain.
I was thinking that too.
Well, I've heard that in many media. Break the chain. What are you?
That's the name. That's the name of the opening theme to Kiva. Break the chain.
Oh, Kiva. Okay.
But I do agree for Daiji, and I like the fact that the writing is allowing the characters to still have these moments. Because yes, you're talking about cranking up the stupid, but that's a writing. That's also good writing at the same time if you allow a character to have to go through that.
No. I would also appreciate that Daichi's loyalty is not flip-flop so often that he's like, Tachibana.
We haven't had a Tachibana in the series, have we?
Not this one, no.
Don't jinx it.
We need a Tachibana.
No, we don't.
And which Tachibana are you referencing?
The one that started my pain.
Oh, Tachibana, who was Garen
Uh-huh.
from Blade.
Tachibana.
But yeah, I just remember his loyalty to the Kamen Riders flip-flopped quite a bit. Daiji. Yeah. Okay, so I guess most unreliable flip-flopper, Tachibana.
Others.
Followed by Michi.
Beachy.
Of Guy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, bitchy.
Yes. And then maybe there's probably room for more, but then there's Daiji. That is of my own limited Kamen Rider experience. But boy howdy.
Yeah, I will agree. But for Michi, when it came to Gaim, he was just a really stupid kid.
Oh, a kid who really wanted power and did not wonder about where it came from.
Well, that's because he was the Hideyoshi of...
Well, sure, let's bring in another name.
No!
Hideyoshi!
He's talking about the...
Sengoku period. Because...
I know, but there's just so many names to play right now. They're all Japanese. Tachibana, Michi, Hideyoshi, Junpei. I was like, who's Junpei? Oh, that's the dad. I mean, there's just a lot of names flying. Pew, pew, pew. I can't keep up. I'm bad enough with American names.
Like Joe Bob.
Oh, BJ and Billy Bob?
On that note, that is all we really have to talk about for Kamen Rider Revice episodes 37 and 38. What did you guys think of them? What do you think of the new form?
What did you girls think of them?
Oh no!
Oh, you should see.
No! I can't get into this. I can't get into this.
Stop. So the military organization in Ultra Mabius is called Crew Guys, but there's girls in it. But I need to get some screenshots with the subtitles, and I'm gonna have some fun on Twitter because the one scene has got one of the dudes says, and that's why guys exist. He goes, oh no, he says we need to protect the world. That's why guys exist. And I'm gonna put, well, that's not sexist. And then
I was kidding.
And then
Silver.
And then there's a scene where where this one dude is talking to one of the girls on the ground, and he's like, "I'll go do it." And she's like, "No, I'll do it. This is a job for the guys." And I'm thinking that's exactly why he said he'll do it. It's a job for guys.
Assuming the fetal position.
But anyway, click like, subscribe, the bell notification. You can support us at Kaiju no Kami on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Discord, that I really should actually go and for the first time in like 4 months.
Oh my god.
Don't admit that.
I know!
Yeah, I kind of have a forgetfulness on Discord. Maybe I'll go there this weekend. Probably not, but I'll say I will.
You just said probably not!
But I'll say I will. Anyway.
That's even worse!
I have a Discord. Did you know I have a Discord? Because I keep forgetting I have a Discord. I don't normally use Discord, but when I do, it's, holy crap, I have a Discord.
Okay.
And the website Creativity by Design, LLC.com, where you can also get cool Kaiju no Kami merchandise, like this t-shirt. And this is...
And if you want to support Silver Quill, you can do so on DeviantArt, Twitter, and YouTube at MLP Silverquill. Or you can also look him up by...
Silverquill?
Silverquill.
Silverquill.
Or...
My name is Silverquill. Hello.
Or you can look him up by After the Fact. But beware when you choose After the Fact, because apparently there's a news station also listed as After the Fact, apparently.
But I was here first. Hello. I buried my soul to the nation. Oh, wait, that's in the Middle East. That's an insult. Sorry.
It is?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, but what doesn't offend them?
Oh, yeah, no. This is why.
That's mean.
This is why a guy chucked shoes at President W. Bush's head.
Whatever. Anyway, so
Oh, I didn't know
that's
that.
all we've got. Until next time, bye.